Baba Namo Kevala, Baba Namo Kevala. And sometimes the discernment, the better judgment may yield to the strength of the propensity. It will do so only temporarily. It will do so only in a moment of loss of balance. But generally, it will maintain itself able to determine that this is not a good thing, and I will work to overcoming this propensity. So this is fundamental. We have those propensities, like we said the other day, just like gold comes with many impurities. The human condition also comes with many propensities, and those propensities exist, and there is a reason why they exist. They exist for the preservation of our physical existence, and they exist also to enable us to keep the social tyrants under control. Well, we can do that only if we keep those propensities under control, under the control of our higher self, of our judgment, of our sense of discrimination. So when we know that we are succumbing to a weakness, to a propensity, it is not such a bad thing that we did succumb. It is a good thing that we know it, and we wish that that will be discontinued. And there is one saying, one Oriental saying, which I love, which I like very much. It says, "No virtue is greater than one's capacity to reform oneself." So even if a person falls prey to a propensity or to many propensities in ways which cause disaster for that person and maybe for other people, there's no scope for being discouraged. There's no need to feel disheartened and dejected and feel that everything is lost, because greater than the impact of the propensity, greater than the damage that the propensity could cause, greater than the force of that propensity or the weakness, no matter how badly, how negatively it was expressed, greater than that is the positive force of self-reformation, is the positive force of transformation. So we can transform ourselves while the propensities still exist, survive, are within us. We have to coexist with them. As I said a while ago, they are needed for our self-preservation, and they are needed in the fight against antisocial elements. What becomes very difficult for humans is when they lose the capacity to judge that they are succumbing to their propensities. When they lose their mental clarity and they become destructive, they indulge in falsehood, they become deceptive, they are driven by jealousy or they are driven by infatuation, and they do not realize that. That is what is very detrimental. There is no comparison between the damage of the damaging effect of that mental state and the damaging effect of a temporary loss of balance, which results in the indulgence in a vritti, in a propensity. There's no comparison. In the first case, there is no self-awareness. Rather, one is almost identified with the vritti, with the propensity. But in the second case, there is a struggle going on in the mind, and temporarily that the propensity gains the upper hand, but the struggle continues. So they are very different. They're very different states of mind, and the state of mind which we find very commonly in human beings who suffer a lot psychologically. And I don't mean by saying that, I don't mean to say that they're mentally deranged, but they are under the influence. They're very heavily influenced by certain propensities. They do not admit to themselves, let alone to others, that those propensities are actually creating disturbance in their mind, in their life. Then, in that case, in the case of that in the case of that person, then the mind becomes unable, benumbed. It becomes unable to free itself from the constrictions, from the bondage of the propensity. And we find this very, very commonly, very, very commonly. There is a tendency, there are many forces there are many weaknesses, many propensities that together, if we let them drive us together, they create much negativity in our mind. And this type of negativity, the force of negativity that is expressed through the indulgence, by indulging in these propensities, takes expression, is expressed in five broad phases, in 5 different ways. The first way of the expression of a negative force is mistaking permanence, or rather say impermanence, for permanence. Our negative tendencies confuse our mind when we allow our mind to flow, to flow to move in the flow of those negative propensities. When we allow our mind to wildly move, unbridled, towards the fulfillment, the gratification of those propensities, then the force of negativity that results in our mind confuses our mind and disables our mind, so that it is no longer able to understand what is permanent and what is impermanent, what is true, what is false, what is virtue and what is vice, what is real and what is unreal, what is pure and what is impure. So mind blindly moves towards the object of gratification under the influence of the propensities that acquire so much strength, so much force of negativity, that influence our mind in such a way that it is unable to see clearly. That is why the person who drinks alcohol and becomes an alcoholic is not able to see something, to understand something so elementary, that alcohol, that addiction, deprives him or her of his humanity, alters him or her in such a way that he or she should be ashamed of, that robs him or her so much of the clarity of mind that is one of the great gifts of human beings. But the person feels, I should have the freedom. Nobody should restrict me. I should drink to my heart's desire. Nobody should tell me what to do. Nobody should impose any rules. I will not impose any rules on myself. So, and even when the person knows, understands that this is not good and actually causing pain, because after drinking so much, then the body and mind experience a state that is not pleasurable. That is also not enough. That strong message that comes through that pain is also not enough to make the person desist from this self-destructive behavior. Baba Namo Keva